Hi everyone, my name is Ajom Ushe. I am a single mother, a registered nurse, and I am a businesswoman. Today, I want to talk about rejection. While I was growing up, I was rejected by my dad, and I remember the toll this took on me, what I experienced. And that's the reason why I had this urge to say, oh, let me talk about my story to encourage someone out there who might be going through rejection, because I have met like two people who the negative impacts of that had in their lives. And I was like, oh, I can encourage, because I mean, when I told the person or the people my story, they could relate. They were like, oh, I could feel what they are passing through. And so that's the reason, that's the motivation behind this video. So as I was saying, I was rejected by my dad. I got to know about my dad when I was a full grown adult, although I was younger than this, and that was years back. And I remember the excitement to meet him for the first time. And so when I met him with that excitement, he had told me that, oh, I am sorry you are in my past. I have a family now. I'm married with children and I have a supportive and a loving wife, and we have shared this bond over the years. And I will not want the news of your presence to disrupt the peace and the love, the joy we've shared all these years with his family. So I'm quoting what he told me that particular day. And he says, so he will not want to acknowledge me as his child, that I should pretend that he didn't exist, and he will pretend likewise. And I went back several times to see if he will have a change of mind, but kept, he stood on his word, and he refused to acknowledge me as a child, as his child. And I move on. But thank God for my uncle. My maternal uncle had been, my maternal brother, or my maternal uncle had been the one who had been there as a father. And he had been the father I never had. He had uh, taken care of me, or he took care of me while I was growing up. He ensured I didn't lack. He was the father. In fact, looking back at the memories I have today, I'm grateful to God that he was and he is still in my life. And he is, you know, the father I never had. And I'm grateful to God for that. So moving forward, I left, and I relocated, and as an adult I started looking, hustling, so to say. But the effect of that rejection was so big on me. I was um, I became I developed low self-esteem as a result of that rejection. I developed low self-esteem, that I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be heard. If I am in a gathering, I will be at the back. I will hide myself so that nobody will see me. I was always ashamed of myself. I was so ashamed of myself, like I was a cursed thing. And this was my feeling. This is my story. This is nobody's story. And this was how I was feeling. And this is the impact of rejection in one's life. Now, I'm not going to be telling you, oh, but I'm telling you my story so that you can relate to my story and see how you can deal with yours in case you are going through you are going through the effect of rejection in your life. So I was ashamed of myself, as I've said earlier, and I was feeling as if I was accosting. I didn't have a social life. I didn't I couldn't attend events or occasion. I was always locking myself indoors. I didn't want to be seen. I was always crying. In fact, for then I cried more than I laughed, and I was always frowning my face. I was feeling so bitter. And I remember I contemplated suicide several times because there was no reason for me to be alive. For some people, you might think those uh, who have not encountered that would like they will feel, what are you even talking about? Is that a big deal? What's rejection? What's that? But until you've gone through rejection and the impact, you feel that impact that you can relate with what I'm telling you about. It's only when you've encountered something or you have gone through a particular negative situation in your life that you can relate to what another person is saying. And so I didn't have a life. I couldn't. I was stuck. I was stuck in my life. I couldn't navigate different seasons in my life. I was just there because I mean, it was as if no. So you can imagine what it feels like when a father, or this is my blood that I've come to know that, and he had looked at me in my face to say, "No, I don't want you." Not once, not two, not thrice. Do you understand? So, and I'm like, what happened? Like, do you understand? And it's not that I was a child, I was a full-grown adult. How can you look at a full-grown woman and you say, "Oh, I don't want you"? Come on. Then it was like crazy. I couldn't relate. I couldn't understand how was I this bad that this man couldn't accept me as a child. What happened? Am I costing? Like, how? Do you know that this can really affect you? I didn't have a social. I couldn't mix with friends. For people who have known me, who have worked with me, could attest to this. I didn't have friends that I can just laugh with you, but I didn't have clothes. I was always paranoid with people around me. I was always having anxiety, panic attack. It was really, really so bad. Really, really, really so bad. But when it was time for God to break that yoke, He did it gradually, gradually, gradually. And of course, that's why I'm here today to tell my story to encourage somebody. I started, attending first church programs, first church programs, listening from to messages from renowned men of God that I could relate to their messages, because it's one thing for you to listen. There are plenty men of God, but there are some that are really sent to you in different seasons of your life, and when you hear their messages, it's as if they are talking to you directly. And so I started listening to their messages. I started listening to gospel music, good ones that are very yoke breaking ones, the ones that the message were really relatable. Both secular and gospel music, I was listening to everyone, good ones that talked about how beautiful I was, how a blessing I was, both secular. So I was listening to them. I started attending programs that were talking about childhood trauma, how to break free from childhood trauma, can be rejection, abandonment, and all those negative, childhood trauma that can be rape or whatever, molestation and all that, abuse. So I started attending those programs, and with the with their teachings, I was breaking gradually free from it. I started using positive affirmation, especially word two from the Bible that I could relate with. Because the truth about it is that, you see, God loves us so much that you cannot, you can't even understand what the love, the depth of the love of God for you. You can't understand the depth of God, the love of God. When I sit back to understand, I'm like, if the Almighty could love me, and the Bible says He engraved my name on the palm of His hand, this is not words to just tease you. This is the reality that God engraved our name in the palm of His hands. And so I had that joy and that confidence in that word, and I was happy with that fact. And I also had, families that were supportive, both aunties, uncles, my immediate, my daughter, my siblings, my mom. Everybody was supportive around me, even when they couldn't relate to they couldn't relate to what I was going through, because I couldn't express the depth, because couldn't express the depth of what I was going through to them. I didn't want to bore them with that, but I had family support system, family that were supportive. And I've not told anybody my story, and I'm saying it for the first time just to encourage people, to encourage those who are going through it. And that's why I didn't want to make it step by step, this to break out from rejection, because everyone's story is different, and the level of the damage that would have done to you is different, and how you heal is really different. And so I can't come here and start boring and say, oh, step by step, because even though when I tell you those steps, it might be different from you. But all I want to say is that you can break from it. It's a gradual process, but be intentional and be progressive with your this thing. Now you've heard, I said I started the things I did. In addition, I started, I used positive affirmations that like I was saying, and words from the Bible that talks about me as an individual person. I started, I went back to school. I started adding value to my own life, and value to both in my career, and of course I'm a business person, in my business trying to be better. I also physical appearance. I started buying, because before now I don't used to wear good things, because I was like, I am not that worthy. There was that feeling of unworthiness and feeling of unwantedness. And so I don't deserve to wear good things then. I just felt I don't deserve to wear good things. So I was not wearing any good thing, because I feel nobody is even seeing me. In fact, who cares about me? And even when I'm walking on the road, it's as if I've traveled. My mind is not even in my body. You see that feeling that you are walking and your mind has traveled. And I didn't tell you, I didn't have opinion, my own opinion. I was always going to with everybody's opinion than my own self. So I started adding value to my life, buying good things, wearing good things, even though not so expensive. I could buy with the level of my the money I have, like manage, but I was intentional to buy good things. I was no more buying things that I felt just anyhow thing. I told myself, oh, you deserve it. So I can go to the market and say, oh, Mary, buy this for yourself. I talk to myself more. Nobody can talk to you than you yourself. So I was always talking to myself. In fact, if you see the way I talk to myself, you feel, oh, there's a second person there. I was always telling myself so that I could hear myself. So that if nobody could say, I am telling myself. So if I go to the market, oh, Mary, you deserve it, buy. I buy. I started making effort to, look good outwardly while I was doing internally too, so that it will help boost my self esteem and self image and all that. And so I became intentional to heal. I forgave my father and I forgave myself too. If there was need to forgive myself, but I forgave myself, and I told myself that, well, it's his loss. It is his loss. He If he looked at me, am I not beautiful for you to say, oh, I don't want her? Then it's your loss. It's not me. So I forgave him. But that doesn't mean when he comes back to say, oh, Mary, this son and that, I will forgive and accept him as a father. No, I don't have a father. And I'm at peace with that. I'm at peace with that, and I don't care. I have an uncle who is my father, and I'm taking him as a father. But for you, that's your business. You can go with your family, and I'm fine with that. So I forgive him, I forgive myself, and I move. I started going out for occasion, maybe small occasion like maybe weddings, burial. Before now, I don't used to. If you invite me for any occasion, I will never go. That your invitation will waste. And I remember how many people I had issues with. It was just because I didn't see myself to be in such gathering. Even I made low this thing decision. I've lost the word I wanted to use. So every decision I made was just low. It was not something that was substantial or standard, because I didn't feel, even when I go for a gathering, maybe an event, I will want to go and stay. Maybe I see a beautiful chair, I will feel, oh, maybe I don't deserve to stay there, or let me go and look for somewhere, very low, that I'm deserving. But the devil is a liar. I am deserving of good things. I didn't have any, I didn't have vision for my life. I couldn't dare to dream, because I just felt it will never actualize, because I mean it was not for me. But the devil is a liar, as I've always said. I am dreaming big now, because I mean I deserve to be I deserve the good things of life, and you deserve the good things of life too. And so if you have been battling the effect of rejection in your life, maybe your dad rejected, or your parent rejected you, or maybe your dad rejected your pregnancy while you were still in the womb, or while you were born, even as an adult, like my own story. Or maybe your blood, your siblings, uncles, family members, your partner, spouses, maybe somebody whom you've been admiring told you to your face that no, I don't want you, you are not my standard. Or maybe it's job, you've been rejected for and that interview for several times. Or maybe it's a proposal and severally you've been rejected. The negative effect it has turned on you, or you've been managing. You see, rejection, what rejection does is that it makes some people to either enter their shoe, or for some to bring out the negative part in them. Some people become addicted to drugs, to negative things. Some people have even become armed robbers as a result of that. One of the person that I told my story that I got to learn, he was on drugs, because when you ask him, he said, "Oh, my father rejected me, that I was a useless child, and he doubt if I'm his blood." And so that negative word, and the father had to reject him. And for years now, the father had not cared to contact him, and so he took solace in drugs. And every time he tried to get a job, he kept messing up himself. He kept messing himself up because of the addiction. And for some people, maybe it's armed robbery. They have gone into ritual killing, because they just felt, oh, instead of, it has brought out the negative part. Some have sabotaged their marriages, or relationship as a result of this. I sabotaged so many blessings that came my way then. I couldn't handle leadership roles. I was always running from anything that was coming my. So if you say, "Oh, maybe come and handle this position," I will say, "No, no. Is it for people like me? Oh, no, I can't handle." I will outrightly tell you I can't. Meanwhile, I can't. People were rooting. They saw that gift potential in me, but I couldn't see it myself. That's it's as a result of the negative effect of rejection. And so, if you are going through all this, and maybe just like I've mentioned, it's really eating you up. See, I'm a survivor, and you are too. You have to be intentional about healing. Be intentional. It might not come one day. You might not get your healing one day. It might take even years. But gradually, gradually, be breaking free from the grip of rejection. That grip is holding on you. Be Try to break free. If some people, if you tell your pastor might not be able to help you. There's the spiritual aspect of it, and there's also the psychological aspect that needs to be handled by a certified, qualified trauma, maybe counselor, childhood trauma counselor, somebody who is specialized in that field. So you need to look for those people. It doesn't come cheap. Prayers doing the spiritual aspect too is very key. Doing the physical aspect is very key too. And doing the career and everything is key. Thank you so much for all. I just want you to pick one or two things that I've said. I can't really say step by step or what, just like I've said before. Our story is peculiar to us, and the healing might be different, and the duration will also be different. But you can come out of it. There's nothing that is impossible with God. So what God cannot do does not exist. So there's nothing impossible with God. Thank you, thank you so much for your time. I am grateful for this opportunity to to talk to you. Please like, please share, please subscribe. We have to build a community of people who are going through some traumatic experience, hold ourselves by the hands and encourage each other so that, we can fulfill what's the purpose of God for our life. Thank you so much for your time. Don't mind my eyes, please. I just now I'm looking at you. Just don't mind my eyes. I'm looking at you. Thank you so much. Bye.